you're already pre-asleep.
or at least appearing to lie dormant. And this does not imply that. Hey everyone, what is going on? What is going on? Welcome to Men's Morning Check-In. My name is Curtis Brooks. I am your host. And as promised, guys, we have yet a wonderful show for you again. This is actually part two of a show or broadcast we did yesterday that is Think on This Tuesday. We had a discussion. We talked about that old serpent, yeah. So, in any event, we're going to continue that conversation. But before we start that conversation, I want to say again, welcome. Again, my name is Curtis Brooks. I'm your host. Guys, we're looking forward to having a great show, and we're going to dive more into this thoughts and all this thinking that's going on, or the lack thereof. So, uh, the premises of this show is to speak to men. There are some series of different stats out there. They're saying otherwise. I know as men we have a tendency to try and come off like we have it together, and the reality of it is that we don't always have it together. So that is the premises of the show, and that is we need to check in and just maybe it's accountability. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say as well too, perhaps. But if that being the case, hey, let's make sure we're checking in. If you're not checking in with me, that's okay too. But make sure you're checking with someone that creates a safe space for you, someone that you can have a conversation with, you can perhaps may have known for years, or I don't know, but someone or that individual that creates a safe space for you, and you can say, hey, I'm present and available. So that's more so what this is about. Say, I am present and available. All too often, many of us as men are really offing our lives. That means that we're canceling our lives by way of different devices, whatever the case might be. But and it's absolutely unfortunate because there's so much more to us than we have allowed the world to put on display for us. And but in any event, guys, to find out more about me, you can check me out on LinkedIn. You can search Curtis Brooks over on LinkedIn. You'll find me there. Also on YouTube, search for me, Life Coaching for Men. Think about that one. Life Coaching for Men over on YouTube. Find me there. And for Facebook, it's Life Coaching, the number 4 men. Again, Facebook, Life Coaching, the number 4 men. You'll find me there. So we're broadcasting on all 3 platforms. So guys, I only have 15 minutes, so I'm going to dive right back into this here conversation. This is part two. Think on This Tuesday, we were talking about that serpent, that old wise serpent, or lack thereof, I guess. But nevertheless, he was wise enough to steal the very thing that God had already established for mankind, us. And we're absolutely talking about our thoughts because Eve was given a question. And I thought about this morning too as I was preparing for this conversation because to think about something, it means that we have to be intentional, and it just makes sense. We have to make sense, but we have to be given the information to think about whatever it is that we're thinking about, or what is perhaps that will eventually create the desired results. So, with Eve being in the garden, we're still talking about thoughts. It's not just about her thoughts, guys, it's our thoughts. So, with Eve being in the garden, it doesn't say that she was thinking about anything. It says that the serpent had approached her with a question. And so that would imply that the question showed up. And I want for us to just be honest with ourselves. There's times where we might be lying in bed or sitting on the sofa with our kids and just thoughts, weird, wicked, silly, stupid, dumb thoughts just pop up. And it's not something that we're even being intentional about. They just pop up. And I think it was the same situation with Eve. The thought popped up, and here was the serpent asking her a question for something that was already established for her. And again, he was very much aware of what was going on or what she had been given. And it's such as life with us that we often get into a routine, and that routine is can be really detrimental to our existence, if you will. The very thing that God had given to Eve and Adam and Eve as a whole was the freedom that they wouldn't have to worry about judgment. But here we stand now that our very thoughts at the intersection of good and the intersection of evil. And that there's a competition, there's a struggle here. So our thoughts come to judge us. That was not the real intention, but this is where we are right now. So as Eve was asked of the serpent, did God not say that you could not eat of that you could eat of every tree of the garden? And then she quickly pointed out to, well, no, let me show you. This is what he said. Let me tell you what he said. And as I mentioned on yesterday, the very purpose of this thought was to dismantle the very thing that God had put together. Not only for Adam and Eve, but it would be extended to all of us. And this is just how our thoughts work, gentlemen. That the very thing that we have come to believe is true, and yet here comes a thought, unintentional as it may seem, or subtle as it may seem, and here's the serpent approached Eve. The Bible says that he was the most subtle or creature that God had made. And so he came in a cunning fashion, much like with our own thoughts. They will come in a cunning fashion to challenge to challenge our very existence, to challenge our understanding, to challenge our purpose. The thoughts show up. And so, in fact, this is what we as people, men, women, like children, this is what we're battling with. We're battling with our thoughts. Our thoughts, our thoughts are judging us. Our thoughts are saying that we're the greatest. Our thoughts are saying that we're the worst. And we're at this intersection. And most times, being at this intersection, it causes a paralysis because we, in most cases, don't know what to do. And I want to present to you that Eve had, I'm looking at the time here, I have only 15 minutes, so I want to present to you that Adam and Eve were given something, or given an inheritance. And this extends off to us as well, but they were giving an inheritance. And what had taken place is that this inheritance represented a reality for them. This inheritance was real to them. We may not, and a lot of people, I would say just a lot of people may not think that this is this space or this world that comes from the stories of parables and things of that nature. They may not think that they're real, and it's not a Bible study, but I just wanted to just dive in here. Like I said, I got about 15 minutes here. I just wanted to dive in here and say that there was the world that the serpent would now present to Eve. There's the world of good, which there was no judgment, and the individual or the person that was over this kingdom was God. So they had free reign, but we know in life that when we follow the rules, there's a set of circumstances that follow that in line with following the rules or just being obedient, if you will. Conversely, there are circumstances that will also fall in line with disobedience, meaning that if you, just an example, you have a child and you tell your child, and we've all been children at one time, where is that our parent may have been telling us to do something or go left, go right for a particular reason. Maybe we didn't see it, but the very thought that popped up wanted to challenge what mom or dad said, or challenge our boss or our superior. The very thoughts wanted to challenge them. And perhaps we stepped out there on a limb, such as Eve had done. And so what now the serpent presented to her was something pleasing, the Bible says, that was attractive, that had all the sheen, the glow, and those are my words, but that was attractive to her, was appealing to her. And so she took the bait. And when she took the bait, the Bible says that she had also given some to her husband. And they eventually had both fallen. And so here's my point. Our thoughts are what will establish us. Our thoughts will encourage us. Our thoughts will make us feel the worst that we could possibly feel. Our thoughts will make us feel alienated or rejected. Our thoughts. So Adam and Eve had everything that they needed, except somehow the serpent came in a subtle fashion with a question that had wisdom all over it because he was looking for something. And man, time is going by so quickly. So here's my point. The questions in life, even as Adam and Eve were given everything they could possibly ever need, and the very questions in life come to challenge us sometimes. The very questions in life come to oppose the very thing that was given to them or given to us as a whole. And they will negate the good and shine a light on the negative. Adam and Eve had everything they would possibly ever need, except when the question had come by way of the serpent, Eve responded. She and Adam and the rest of mankind would fall into a space where they didn't believe anymore. And because they didn't believe anymore, this world or this space that they created, a set of circumstances that would follow, would be as far as they could believe. Because now they're on their own. And they're under the authority of a new king now. Not the King of Kings or the Lord of Lords, but they're now under the authority of a new king. So this is what I want to leave you with here. We all need, men, we all need a leader. And I'm not proposing to be your leader by any stretch of the imagination, but a spiritual leader. Because at the end of the day, what you and so many of us are fighting against is the very thought that that we're refusing to give credence to. We're refusing to acknowledge it. And because we don't acknowledge these thoughts, this is what more than what half of the world is dealing with, the entire world is dealing with. The thought that would oppose the good that we should do. So think on this, guys, that the Bible talks about even the ants, as small as they are, even ants have a leader. Even ants have a guide, bees. So without proper guidance, gentlemen, we are essentially left to our own vices. And if it means that after the fall that we have created this mind, or this mind has been created due to the set of circumstances that would follow, would absolutely have us destroy the world, destroy everything that would possibly appear to be a threat to us because of the circumstances that would come after the disobedient. So, guys, I'm going to leave it with that and say, have a wonderful day. And but before I do that, wow, time goes by so quickly. So before I do that, guys, I want to say, hey, Yolanda, thank you for joining. I'm sorry, just look at the comments here. Thank you for joining, Yolanda, uh, over on Facebook. I appreciate you. So that being said, guys, I want to leave you with some information about a conference, a wonderful conference that we got going on for the month of October here. That is October 20th and the 21st of this year. That's 2023, October 20th and the 21st. 2023 this year. That's a Friday and Saturday. It's a 2-day conference being held in the Houston, Texas area. It is, what else we got? It is a virtual conference, virtual and in-person conference, so a hybrid conference. So virtual piece of it is obviously you can watch from the confines of your own home or office or watch with friends. And we've got some credible speakers lined up for you. We'll be speaking on spirituality. We'll be speaking on relationships, careers, communication, and all of these things, and some of the things that I'm talking about now. So they're absolutely important. Our thought process, guys. We'll be talking about that as well. So all of these things are going to help us acquire or come into our own purpose, gentlemen, and help us again to remind us to check in, guys. Be accountable to someone. No man is an island, gentlemen. No man is an island. So again, as I stated earlier, the premises of this daily live here for about 15 minutes here. No, I'm a little bit over here now, but the premises of this live here is to, first minute, check in. I know oftentimes as men we'll say that we're okay, but the numbers say different, guys. The numbers say different. So as I said, stated before, I'm not moving from this marker. The numbers say absolutely different. The numbers are saying that we as men, most of us are off in our lives. We're taking our lives. We're committing suicide. Let's make it more blunt for you that we're committing suicide. We're leaving our families. We're uh, giving up, and that's not what we do as men. We don't give up. So that being said, guys, I'm going to say ciao for now. We will see you tomorrow, guys. Same time, 7 a.m. Central Time. Ciao for now. Bye bye. Why? Because obviously these
Here with this amazing man.
life comes with a lot of things that are already pre-established, or at least appearing to lie dormant. And this does not imply